I've got two substantive things for you this week, and they're both related to Medicaid planning. The first one is a new advisory, something that I really want people that are in the elder care community to pay attention to, because the Supreme Court of New Jersey issued a ruling a couple weeks ago saying that anyone that participates in Medicaid planning and providing strategic help with those people looking to qualify for Medicaid is actually guilty of the unauthorized practice of law, which is a criminal offense. If you do it and you get paid, it's an offense of the third degree. It's punishable up to 5 years in prison. And if you do it and you don't get paid, it's still a crime of the fourth degree, punishable up to 18 months in prison. That one I'm not super worried about. I don't know that there are going to be a ton of people going to jail for this. But the other thing that came out with that statute is that if you commit the unauthorized practice of law, there is a civil action that can be brought against you where they can get up to 3 times, or what we call treble damages, for any of the losses, attorney's fees, and everything else in there. So this becomes really important for those people that are even just tangentially involved in giving strategic advice to individuals that are going through the Medicaid process. And we're going to be sending out a mailer that should be hitting all of our care community friends to let them know about this. We've included a copy of the opinion. We've included a copy of the statute, the criminal statute about the unauthorized practice of law, and a little bit on a cover letter about my interpretation of that. So it's really important. It's been a big change that the Supreme Court really doesn't want people to be injured by looking like they're doing the practice of law when they're not in fact lawyers or qualified to do that. The second thing relates to a link that I've included into this video blog about a program that is part of Medicaid to recover the costs that Medicaid pay out from the sale of a home after someone's passed away. And we call that estate recovery. And this takes place in a state that's not New Jersey or Pennsylvania, but it is a good write-up in mainstream media about the hidden cost that comes when someone qualifies for Medicaid without having done anything to protect the home, and after they pass away they find out that the state has taken a lien on that home up to the value that the Medicaid recipient had. And so the way that this translates for people that are doing Medicaid planning in New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania is if you are a single individual, they can take up to the entire value of the home. In this article, the value of the home was just about $75,000. They didn't have great big values in that part of the country. But you know, here we can easily see homes worth $300,000 or $400,000. And imagine if all of the is consumed in reimbursing Medicaid after you pass away, the way that it affects your people who are inheriting money from your estate. If you are a married couple and you own that home jointly, Medicaid can take up to half of the value of the home in estate recovery, and they don't need to let you know that they're doing that. So if you go through that whole process and you become qualified for Medicaid, and then afterwards, after the person's passed away, the healthy spouse goes to sell the home, turns out that Medicaid is in the closing room with them with their hand out asking for money, and they can take up to half of the value. So when we think about Medicaid planning, we're really considering sheltering those assets, not just for the people that are going to be inheriting it. That might be the situation with a single applicant. We're also thinking about maintaining the quality of life for the healthy spouse. We don't want half of the value of that home to be consumed in an estate recovery as part of a lien. That might be the only retirement that that healthy spouse sees after the sick spouse passes away. And so it becomes really important to do that. That's something that we help people with, and certainly if you have questions about that, I urge you to reach out to us and learn a little bit more about our services and how we can help.